Tēnā koutou me nau mai. Hello and welcome, I'm Vanessa Hills. Sleep is like a life support system. It really is our superpower. So make sure improving and maximising the quality and right amount of sleep is one of your top priorities. A lot of my clients come to me with ongoing struggles with sleep, among other issues. And as we've worked together, they've learned some great techniques which have become lasting habits, and they've rediscovered the power of healthy amounts of restorative sleep. Now, the occasional night of bad sleep is perfectly normal, and there's really no need to get too worried about it. But if we're looking to make consistent improvements in the quality and quantity of sleep, there are ways that we can do that. What I'd like to share with you today are the top 6 scientifically grounded tips to help you escape the poor sleep trap and enjoy regular, high quality and healthy amounts of sleeps. Now, I'm a big fan of internationally known sleep scientist Matt Walker. He's actually a bit of a hero of mine, and in his book Why We Sleep, he shares how sleep is so much more critical to all aspects of our health and well-being than previously thought. All the amazing benefits and how to improve your sleeps. So I would invite you to seek that book out and read it. It really will change your attitude to how you value sleep, for sure. It certainly affected me. Number 1, regularity. Go to bed at the same time and get up at the same time every day, even at weekends. Now, I know a lot of us like to have a later night at the weekends and a lie-in, but actually, regularity is king, and it anchors your sleep to improve both the quality and the quantity. And the reason for that is that we all have a master clock in our brains, our circadian rhythms, and they control and regulate all our body functions. And it expects regularity, and it works best with regularity. So I'd invite you, don't just set an alarm to wake you up in the morning. Set an alarm at night to make sure you go to bed at consistent times. Number 2, temperature, keeping it cool. Our brains and our bodies need to drop our core body temperatures by about 1 degree to initiate and stay asleep. So the golden rule, make sure your bedroom is cooler, ideally a little bit above 18 degrees centigrade. I'm sure you've all experienced it. It's much easier to fall asleep and stay asleep in a colder room than it is to toss and turn on those hot, sticky summer nights. Tip number 3, darkness. We are a dark, deprived society, and we need that darkness in the evenings to trigger the release of our sleep hormone, melatonin. And what melatonin actually does, it helps regulate the healthy timing of our sleep. So in the last hour before bed, dim those lights, disengage and ideally turn off all those devices, your phone, your tablets, your laptops, even your TV. And you might be surprised at how sleepy you start to feel even with just dimming the lights for the hour before bed. And this darkness guide continues on into our bedroom. So make sure your bedroom's dark too. Ideally have blackout blinds or blackout curtains, and if necessary, experiment wearing an eye mask. Tip number 4, don't stew in bed, walk it out. If you do find yourself waking up in the night and you're still awake after 25 minutes, or you're still awake after 25 minutes when you've gone to bed, get up and go somewhere else and do something quiet, something restful. So that rules out devices, peeps, I'm afraid. Why? Because our brains are highly associative, and we want to get away from our brains associating the bed with wakefulness. In fact, we need to retrain our brains to associate the bedroom, our beds, with sleep. And gradually your brain will relearn that healthy association. Tip number 5, and I'm sure you've heard this before, please do monitor your caffeine and alcohol intake. Guidelines: avoid caffeine in the afternoons and into the evenings, and do try not to go to bed too tipsy. It will disrupt the quality and quantity of your sleep. Finally, tip number 6, the power down hour. This really is a wind down routine. It's crazy to expect ourselves to live our busy lives under all the stress that's going on in the world and in our lives, and then just jump into bed and flip to sleep. It doesn't work like that. Sleep is not a switch that we can just switch on or off. It's a gradual process. It's a physiological process that actually starts hours before we hit the bed. So we need to work with that, not against it. And it takes time for your brain to gradually descend down to the firm foundation of good sleep. Just like it takes time to land a large aircraft. There is a routine, a process before landing, and it's a gradual descent. And that's what we have to allow our bodies to do when we approach sleep. So again, it's switching off or disengaging from all your devices. I promise you the world will keep on spinning even if you don't have your phone on and you haven't looked at your laptop for a while. Do something relaxing, whatever works for you, and when you found it, something that does work, stick with it. Don't forget, regularity is king. Some things you might like to try for relaxation: reading a book perhaps, listening to some music, doing a craft, playing an instrument. So develop and stick to a regular power down hour, and if that's too much, if that's too daunting, start with a power down half hour. So just to summarize our 6 top tips: regularity is king. Keep it cool, room temperature, ideally 18 degrees, just a smidgen above. Darkness, dim those lights, disengage from those devices. Don't stew in bed, walk it out if you find yourself awake after 25 minutes or so. Monitor your coffee and alcohol intake. And finally, develop and maintain a regular power down hour, or at least start with a power down half hour. Please be aware that if you have an underlying problem such as sleep apnea or another sleep disorder, do go to see your doctor. Just as a training program won't work if you've got a sprained ankle or a broken leg, these tips really won't help you if you have an underlying problem or sleep disorder. And finally, don't forget Matt Walker's book, Why We Sleep. It really is fascinating and it will transform the way you view and value sleep. So just to wrap up, sleep really is like a life support system. It really is a superpower. So make sure improving and maximizing the quality and right amount of sleep is one of your top priorities. Please get in touch if you'd like to learn more or you'd like to get help with improving your sleep. Kia ora, me ka kite, ano au e koutou. Thank you and see you next time.